Hey, welcome everyone. This is our presentation for the hackathon that we're doing for Coder Academy. We're a Jigglypuff team. My name's Chris doing this recording. With me on the team is Rob and Tim, and we're going to present our app. So the app name is called Pokemon, or rather Pokemon Education, because it's a mini game with some educational elements to it. So as a bit of an overview, we're going to go through the app idea, the target audience, what does it do and how to use it, features, tech stack, challenges, things learned, and fun part that we've all each contributed. So Pokemon Education, the app idea is the initial thought was going to be a Pokemon theme inspired by the material from my web dev class, and then it wasn't, but we could not resist how good the Poke API is. A moment later, we concluded that we will combine Pokemon concept with a simple tile game and RPG like Ragnarok, where the characters could talk to an NPC. The target audience is anyone who likes to play computer games with a bit of educational fun involved. So what it does is a game where you move around a map. It's a 10 by 10 grid, and you encounter a Pokemon. The encounter will trigger a quiz to guess the Pokemon's names. So some of the key features are you can choose from one of the 4 available players, the quizzes when you encounter the Pokemon, and there's some funky music playing in the background while playing. The tech stack is we're using CSS. We decided to use Bootstrap just so we could make it really responsive at a very short amount of time. So we didn't have to do anything fancy to handle displaying on mobile viewports. Basic HTML and just plain vanilla JavaScript, so no jQuery or React or anything fancy like that. So Tim, would you like to go through this slide?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Chris. So first thing is the challenges. Well, while I'm doing the code within the team, and this, to be honest, my first experience doing this. Firstly, I'm not familiar yet, like fully with JavaScript. I'm still learning it, and probably I could say that I'm still, quite a beginner. So the challenges with that is I still need to familiar with some of the, how to write the proper syntax with certain code if I want to do something about it, and then probably use it properly with certain functions and stuff. And also the second is probably the flow of passing arguments from one class to another class could be really confusing when it gets really big and bigger. Also, trying to memorize all the syntaxes and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I guess to tackle that, I have to spend more time and just get used to it, and then by getting used to it, maybe it will like all the codes that I memorize will come to me just by nature. Also, sometimes I had to do research and spend hours just for tackling maybe something a bit not too big but also not too small. So for sometimes like medium or could be simple things, if I'm not familiar, sometimes I have to spend time just to get it working. Yeah, so the fun part is when my code works, and also to see the part of my creation and the contribution as well in this hackathon and within the app too. And also I think it's really fun to be able to collaborate with other people, not just myself doing coding. So three people within the team. Things that I learned during this challenge, of course, from getting myself familiar with the JavaScript codes and working in a team, being the team players. Also, I think the most important thing is I could learn from other team members, like Chris and Rob contributed a lot. I can I learned so much from them. So that's probably it from me. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks Tim. So challenges for me are mostly just how to do Git collaboration. It was my first time trying to handle merge changes and doing everything in 2 days. The fun part was just the creative freedom we had to build anything we wanted into the web app, and the team collaboration part of it, of course. Things learned, I learned so many things about JS, and a lot of that is just reading a whole bunch of code that Rob especially did, and that was really quite a learning experience. Learn how to merge the code and how to make somewhat a single page application, which is what we did, and I'll demonstrate that later in the demo. Okay.
Alrighty, thanks Chris. So the main challenge for me was the Git collaboration again. It was the first time I've actually worked on a project with others using Git, and so that was really challenging at first, but got the hang of it eventually thanks to Chris's tips on using Git, so that was really helpful. And also the other main challenge was like figuring out how to structure the app to begin with, but I think we managed to formulate a pretty solid foundation for it, so that extra things weren't as hard to build in. The fun parts were definitely just, well, I enjoyed all of it, but definitely the collaboration. It was great working with Tim and Chris, and I also really liked having the freedom to be creative and work on something that wasn't constricted by rubrics and assignment requirements. The main thing I learned was the Git collaboration, like pull requests and merging and just keeping track of what everyone else is contributing to the main branch. But the whole experience definitely improved my JavaScript knowledge as well, so that was really valuable. Thanks.
Cool, thanks Rob, and thanks Tim. So we'll demo the app now. Thank you. So this is the landing page. It's just one HTML file, and Rob and Tim, feel free to jump in at any time if you want to talk about stuff. But I'll just go through, starting with this home page. So everything's bootstrap, so it should be pretty responsive if I just move things. We've got a drop-down menu for the play game and the about. This is a character selection screen, really cool feature where you can choose your player character. Before starting the game, I'll show you the about screen. So just a bit of an about what Pokemon education is. We've got this cool little player animation here. It's just a little PNG file that's animated. And of course, we've got play game buttons all throughout. All right, I'm going to show the game now. So we'll go back to the main menu. Let me just make sure it's all loaded fine. And we have a character selection screen here. Let's say we want to play as Gary. I'll just click him, and then we click this to play the game, and you can see that we have Gary. Now this is our game. It's a 10 by 10 grid representing the map, and we can move around using the arrow keys. There's collision detection in place to make sure that we can't move onto the tree tiles. So we'll go down to one of these Pokemon. There's code in place to detect when we touch one of these free Pokemon. We'll go to this one. What is my name? I actually know this one. It is Miltank, but let's say I didn't. I'll select this one. That's incorrect. Try again. Yes. I'll select the correct one. Yes. Finish. And that's one's done. So we can move our character up to the next Pokemon. I think this one's this one. Yay. Finish. Go down. This one. And I definitely know this Pokemon. It is Mudkip. So we'll click that. Now that all three Pokemon quizzes have been solved, we'll click finish, and it'll pop us into the second level, which is a whole new generated map. And as you can see, there's a whole new selection of random Pokemon that was called from the Pokemon API. So we'll go down, select this one, I'm not sure what this one is. No. This one, no. Splendid, never heard of it. But anyway, there's only 3 levels. It's the second level. Once it's done, we'll go into the third map, which is another random, not random generated, but a level that we manually created, which we'll show in the code later. So it's this sort of one HTML page, and we're using CSS styling to show and hide particular elements like the main game screen, the about screen, and the intro screen or landing screen. And that's all handled through event listeners that basically change the display property of the DOM. That's to hide and remove the display attributes for each of those 3 different pages, I guess. So it kind of like simulates 3 different pages in the one HTML file. So I thought that's pretty cool. So app.js is pretty much the entry point for the application. And from there, this is start game function is pretty much doing the whole work. So it creates the map on the game, starts the music, and creates a couple of objects which are pretty much the foundation for the whole game. So the map object, which takes in the size of the grid, which is in this case is a 10 by 10 grid for the game, and the size of each tile in the grid. Yeah, I recommend having a look for the GitHub repo if you're interested.